In the digital Wild West of cryptocurrency, fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye. It's a world of promises, of decentralized dreams, and of titans who seem to emerge from nowhere. And for a time, no titan stood taller than Sam Bankman-Fried. He was the poster child for a new era of finance. An MIT genius, a philosopher of effective altruism, a savior in shorts and a t-shirt who promised to use his billions to save the world. He wasn't just playing the game. He was building the entire casino. But what happens when the architect of the future is building on a foundation of lies? What happens when the house of cards, worth billions, comes tumbling down? This is the story of how one man's ambition built a crypto empire, and how that same ambition burned it to the ground, taking the fortunes of millions with it. To understand the fall, you first have to understand the ascent. Samuel Bankman-Fried, or SBF, as the world came to know him, wasn't your typical Wall Street shark. The son of two Stanford law professors, he graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology with a degree in physics. He was brilliant, socially awkward, and driven by a unique philosophy: earn as much money as possible, not for luxury, but to give it away to the most effective charities. Was a noble goal, a narrative that the media and investors couldn't get enough of. He cut his teeth at Jane Street Capital, a secretive, high-frequency trading firm, where he learned the art of arbitrage, exploiting tiny price differences across different markets. It was here he saw his first golden opportunity in the chaotic world of crypto. In 2017, he founded Alameda Research, a quantitative trading firm. Its purpose was simple: apply the sophisticated strategies of Wall Street to the immature, inefficient crypto markets. Alameda became a monster, a silent giant in the background of every major crypto trade, reportedly generating profits that were the stuff of legend. It was the engine, humming with billions in capital, unseen by most. But SBF's ambition went far beyond just trading. He wanted to own the entire ecosystem. So, in 2019, he launched FTX, a cryptocurrency exchange. Alameda was the shadowy trading powerhouse. FTX was the public-facing cathedral. It was sleek, user-friendly, and relentlessly aggressive in its marketing. They bought the naming rights to the Miami Heat's arena. They enlisted superstars like Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen for Super Bowl commercials. FTX became a household name, synonymous with the safety and legitimacy of crypto investing. SBF played the part of the industry's responsible adult, a lender of last resort who bailed out other failing crypto companies during market downturns. He was seen not just as a king, but as a savior, a stable hand in a volatile world. Behind the scenes, these two entities, Alameda Research, the trader, and FTX, the exchange, were presented as completely separate. It was a critical firewall, so everyone believed. The illusion of separation, of stability, of genius, it all shattered on November 2nd, 2022. It wasn't a complex cyber-attack or a massive market crash that triggered the end. It was a single article, a journalistic bombshell dropped by the crypto news outlet CoinDesk. They had obtained a copy of Alameda Research's balance sheet, and what it revealed was terrifying. The document showed that Alameda's foundation wasn't built on diverse, stable assets like cash or government bonds. Instead, a huge portion of its multi-billion-dollar holdings consisted of one thing: FTT, the native token created and issued by its own sister company, FTX. Think about it this way. Imagine a bank claiming to be worth billions, but upon inspection, you discover most of its assets are just gift cards that the bank printed itself. The FTT token's value was propped up almost entirely by faith in FTX. Alameda was using these self-created tokens as collateral to borrow billions of real dollars. The two separate companies were locked in a death spiral. If the value of FTT collapsed, Alameda would be insolvent. And if Alameda, FTX's biggest customer and market maker, went down, it would take the exchange with it. The firewall was a fantasy. In reality, FTX was secretly funneling billions of dollars in customer deposits from the exchange over to Alameda to cover its risky bets. The money you thought was safe in your FTX account, it was being gambled away. The CoinDesk report was the first crack in the dam. The flood came when Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, FTX's biggest rival, announced he would be selling his firm's massive holdings of FTT tokens, citing the recent revelations. This was the equivalent of shouting fire in a crowded theater. Panic ensued. The price of FTT cratered. A bank run began as terrified customers rushed to withdraw their funds from FTX, but the money wasn't there. Within days, the withdrawals were halted. Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto savior, was forced to admit the unthinkable. FTX was insolvent. The $32 billion empire, the stadium, the celebrity endorsements it, all evaporated into thin air. It was one of the fastest and most spectacular corporate collapses in modern history. The king was dethroned, leaving a trail of destruction and billions in lost customer funds. So, how did this happen? So many smart people, from seasoned venture capitalists to everyday retail investors, get it so wrong? The answer lies in a powerful psychological trap, the too smart to fail illusion. SBF cultivated an aura of untouchable intelligence. His MIT background, his complex philosophical justifications, his ability to speak fluently on any topic, it all created a narrative halo. Investors weren't just betting on a company, they were betting on a genius. This is a classic case of confirmation bias. People saw the success, the fame, the philanthropy, and they used it as proof that everything was legitimate, ignoring the red flags hiding in plain sight.
No one wanted to believe that the nerdy kid trying to save the world was actually running a colossal fraud.
Now, the risk management failures were catastrophic and, in retrospect, astonishingly basic. The number one rule of an exchange is that customer funds are sacred. They are not to be touched, lent out, or gambled with. FTX didn't just break this rule, it obliterated it. Commingling customer deposits with a speculative trading firm is the original sin of finance. Furthermore, building an entire financial ecosystem on a self-issued, illiquid token is like a nation building its central bank on a currency it can print at will, with no underlying value. It created a feedback loop where the illusion of wealth was propped up by more illusion, destined to fail the moment it was tested by reality. The lesson here is as old as markets themselves. First, trust but verify. A charismatic founder and a compelling story are not substitutes for rigorous due diligence. Demand transparency. You can't understand where the value is coming from. Or if the finances are deliberately opaque, that is the biggest red flag of all. Second, understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Customer deposits on an exchange are a liability money that must be returned on demand. Treating them like company assets for speculative ventures is not just bad risk management, it's theft. Finally, remember that no one is too smart to fail. History is littered with the wreckage of companies run by supposed geniuses who believed they were above the rules of gravity. The FTX saga is a brutal reminder that in the world of finance, whether it's on Wall Street or in the digital frontier, gravity always wins. The empire of lies may look magnificent, but it is, and always will be, built on sand.